It's very interesting that most of the religions of the world, and I studied in Harvard University 13 religions in comparative religious study, they all think that their past master, the founder of the religion, was the master, and they look back on the history of that master, how he helped people who were around him. And then they think that the spirit of that master is still helping us. Maybe the spirit is helping is difficult to find out when you want to meditate upon a past master, whether it's your mind being worshipped or the master being worshipped. I have still to find any method by which you can distinguish between the mind being worshipped and the master being worshipped when there is no human being to tell you no. In those masters' cases also, it was they themselves in human form, and all of them were in human form, that they were able to tell people what their mind is saying and what the totality of consciousness is saying. They were able to distinguish. Even today it's the same thing, that if you have no human being able to point out to you that your mind is making up something, you are misled by the mind. There is no corrective to that at all. And that's one of the very big drawbacks in believing in even a perfect living master of the past who is not there to tell you. That is why the system works on this basis, that when you are a human being and you need instruction for something, you should have a human being who can tell you, who is enlightened enough, has gone above, beyond you, and can give an answer to your question. If you say you have a belief inside, and you're listening to another person who's also having belief inside, and all the preachers are telling what they are believing, a belief system can be totally made up by the mind, and you can be misled by the mind. Indeed, there is nothing else that misleads us more than our own mind. And that is why there's a great danger in doing that. And that is why these perfect living masters have come and said that look at the history of all the founders of religions. They did their work when they were human beings here. And they did it for that time. And therefore, they even said, they take advantage of us while we are here. They even said so. And we still make religion after them. And then what happens to religion? The spiritual message, which was delivered so eloquently and so convincingly by these masters, we have converted them into rituals and ceremonies and so on. So much of the time which is supposed to be spent in meditation and going within is spent in outside rituals, in outside activities in the name of religion. So that is why that has been a big drawback, that spirituality in becoming religion has given up true spiritual methods and even true spiritual meditation. We have shifted from meditation more to worship. And when we go into worship, we are most of the time worshipping our own mind by making an image of something that we believe is a master. People talk to me about their masters living in the Himalayas, ascended masters living there. And I tell them, tell me a convincing reason that your mind is not making it up. People in India believe in birds being enlightened. And when a bird speaks to them in their mind, it's their mind speaking. Most of the time, the danger is that the mind speaks to us and misleads us, and we think we are talking to a master or to an enlightened being. Therefore, there is nothing like having a perfect living master living in a human form who is enlightened enough while talking to us to be able to speak from the truth and tell us this is where we are right, this is where we are going wrong. So that is why I know that most of us have been tied down by religion. We have been conditioned by religion. We have been so conditioned that it takes sometimes a lifetime, half a lifetime. People have come from different religions and become seekers at a certain time when they felt religion was not giving them the right answer. They were looking for reality, they were looking for true answers inside them, and then they had to look for a perfect living master in spite of the fact that their own religion was teaching the same thing. But they had nobody to correct them, nobody to guide them. Therefore, guidance is needed. It's very similar to a situation in the world that if somebody says, I want to be treated by a dead doctor, he won't be treated. I want to be taught by a professor who died 100 years ago, that professor is not going to teach you. And if you think you can imagine that teacher, then you are being taught by your own mind and not by a teacher. So that's why these perfect living masters have come and said that if you want true guidance, Find a perfect living master over here. They also say, don't find. They say you don't have to find even. Just seek inside, let the master find you. And that's what happens. If you are a seeker, the master will find you. So that is why be content with seeking rather than going back into something that has not solved the problems. How many people have been able to overcome even basic problems of anger, jealousies, going into churches, going into mosques and homes? Here are the religions saying itself, the kingdom of God is within you. This is the living temple of the living God. They describe the physical body like that. Religion is described, and we go outside on man-made buildings and we say they are the house of God. Well, the house of God is the one running around all over, hurting people, talking ill of people, doing various kinds of things, and not going within to find out what is inside. Therefore, remember, the true temple, the true church, the true mosque, the true synagogue is this body. If anybody from any religion wants to go and find the truth, this is where you have to go in. It's all inside, not outside.
Second.